Hey y'all, what is going on? What is going on? It's your girl, Melba Pearson, Melba for Miami, Melba for Justice, also known as the Resident Legal Diva, coming to you today with some breaking news. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has suspended the duly elected state attorney in the Tampa area, also known as Hillsborough County. His name is State Attorney Andrew Warren. He was suspended because he signed onto a letter and made statements, just like many other elected prosecutors across the country, and that pledged not to try to imprison or go after or prosecute those who provide abortions or people that are seeking abortions. So let me just give you guys the quick state of play when it comes to abortion in the state of Florida. Now, we all know about the Supreme Court decision that overturned federal protections for abortion. That was the Dobbs case. That happened a couple weeks ago. I think everybody's pretty familiar with that. So what happens is that it now leaves it up to each state to decide what their law is going to be around abortions. So in Florida, a law passed last legislative session that restricts abortions after 15 weeks. So there is a ban on abortions after 15 weeks. That law went into effect on July 1st. But since then, there have been 5 lawsuits filed challenging that law, saying it's unconstitutional. So basically, the state attorney said, listen, things are really crazy right now, number one. Number two, to be very clear, nobody's been arrested in Florida for providing an abortion, and nobody's been arrested in Florida for seeking an abortion. So what this boils down to is the governor is preemptively, it's like nothing's happened, right? The governor is preemptively suspending Andrew Warren because he has made these statements. This is problematic for a number of reasons. Number one, the governor does have the power to remove an elected official from office for basically malfeasance, misfeasance. You're basically not doing your job, right? The governor should not be removing people from office because of political disputes, because you disagree with their position on something, right? And let me just break down for you what it means to be a prosecutor and to have discretion. So we all hear this term prosecutorial discretion. Prosecutors, especially elected prosecutors, have the discretion to decide what they're going to prioritize as part of their administration. Just like we do at home, when we budgeting our money and figuring out, how we're going to pay our bills, et cetera, elected officials have to do that because they get a set budget coming from the government, right? So Andrew Warren has a set budget that comes from Tallahassee, just like every other prosecutor's office in the state of Florida. They get a set budget. So you have to figure out with the money you have, what you're going to use it on, right? And so when it comes to time and resources, what do you want to prioritize? Do you want to prioritize, let's say, carjackings, sexual assaults, homicide, where people are like shooting up each other in the street? Is that going to have more of an impact on your community? Or is going after somebody who is making a health decision to terminate a pregnancy? So he's saying, listen, the voters picked me. They know my stances. They know I'm a Democrat. They know I'm progressive. They elected me to do this job. They reelected him for a second term, right? So clearly the people of Hillsborough County agree with the job that he's doing. And it should be up to the people, the voters, to decide who should represent them. And if they don't like how somebody's representing them, they vote them out. So the governor has the power to come in and take somebody out of office if they're not doing their job, but he's doing his job. He's just saying, listen, this is not top priority here. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And oh, by the way, the law is a hot mess right now because there's a whole bunch of legal challenges. And if the court comes back and says, okay, this is unconstitutional, then what? Now you would have wasted resources prosecuting somebody, and now that case is not going to stand. And what victim, survivor, other people didn't get the proper attention because you're chasing down something that may not even go forward, in the long run, right? So there's so many problems with this. And then, of course, we all saw in Kansas how there was a bill that was put on the ballot, a ballot initiative, and whether or not abortion should be completely criminalized and banned in Kansas. The people overwhelmingly overwhelmingly voted that down. They were like, listen, abortion needs to stay legal in Kansas. And this is a state that's very conservative. It is predominantly white. And they were like, no, we're not having any of this, right? So when you look at the numbers in Florida, a solid 60% of Floridians want to see abortion access. So again, Andrew Warren was following the will of the people, of the voters, in making this statement. So the governor is coming out saying, well, he's not, he's abandoning his job. He's not doing his duty, blah, 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 blah. But the reality is, yes, he is. He's being accountable to the people that voted for him, and he's trying to be a good steward of the taxpayer resources that he gets. He's like, I'm not going to waste time behind this. I'm going to go after the people that are raping and murdering people. Okay? So I think some of y'all may remember that something similar happened with Miss Ayala when she was state attorney in the Orlando area several years ago under Governor Scott. She came out and said she was not going to prosecute using the death penalty. She was still going to prosecute murder cases, but she was always going to seek life, not death. She and Governor Scott got into a whole drama over it. He then ended up stripping her budget and taking all of her death penalty cases away from her and reassigning it to another state attorney's office, right? That went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled in Governor Scott's favor. So with that bit of history, we know, based on how the Florida Supreme Court is set up right now, based on looking at the whole political structure, that there's probably not going to be a legal avenue for relief for State Attorney Warren with regards to the suspension. We don't know how long this is going to go on. I'm curious to see if the feds are going to get involved in any way, shape, or form. But what really matters here is that we need to vote. Because when you have a governor that's coming out and removing duly elected officials, that is taking away the voice of the people, right? When we go to the ballot box and we check whoever it is that wins, that is who the people chose to lead them. And it should be up to the people to fire that elected official if they don't think that they're doing their job. It's not for the governor to get involved and start being like, well, I like him and I don't like her, and so I'm going to target them. That is the beginning of authoritarianism. This is what communism looks like, y'all. Not like, oh my gosh, but you're getting unemployment, that's communism, right? No. Communism is when you have a leader that's literally taking away the voice of the people. And this is what's happening right now. So what I need all of y'all to do, number one, you need to vote. The primaries in Florida are on August 23rd. Make sure that you either vote by mail. Time is getting tight, so I would suggest if you have a vote by mail ballot, you may want to drop it off during the early voting period that's coming up soon. If you decide you want to vote in person, go early vote. You can early vote at any precinct. And then on the day of election, August 23rd, you have to vote in your home precinct where you are registered. And then, of course, make sure to turn out again in November and vote. Because this is not okay. And if you're not in Florida, you need to keep an eye on what's going on. Because this is a brand new playbook here. Okay? This is not... This is crazy, y'all. When you have governors taking people out of office, and it's not because, they're literally like getting drunk on the job or like, harming people, literally harming people, right? They're not showing up to work. That's one thing. But because you disagree with their politics, you disagree with their stance on an issue, now you're going to take them out of office. This is a slippery slope, y'all. This is not what democracy looks like. So we need to vote, we need to mobilize, we need to raise our voice, and we need to stay educated on what's going on here. I'll keep posting updates as they go along. I anticipate that a number of large organizations are going to be making statements about this, but the reality is there is no reason for this. There is no reason for this other than pure politics. Make no mistake about it. And it is no secret that this governor is seeking presidential office. So there's coming attractions, y'all, if he ends up being the next president of the United States. So again, keep your eyes open. because this is not just a battle this year in 2022, but this is going to be a battle in 2024 as well. So don't sleep on this. This is not good. This is not a good thing. And it doesn't matter what your politics are. This is about democracy. You cannot have governors, anyone else coming in and just removing elected officials on a whim. That's not okay. That's not constitutional. And we've got to act. So vote, educate yourself, and keep a watchful eye. Take good care.